Welcome, everybody, back to Harbor Discussions. This is your host, John. Today, I have the wonderful opportunity to be able to sit here with the GOAT, legend, boss, Chaney. He is most notably known for his role as Malik Poot on HBO's The Wire, aka the best show of all time. After that, he had several other acting roles, such as Troy in the Philadelphia rapper Meek Mill's film Streets. He plays Kendrick Murphy on the #1 Bounce TV hit show Saints and Sinners. He played Gordon Hawk on HBO Max's We Own This City. The author of his own autobiography, The Truth You Can't Betray. He independently made his own documentary, Undeniable, the Chaney story. He's done so much that I can't even go into it all. He's a motivational speaker, a dancer, a rapper whose music has been recognized by networks such as BET, and he is here to promote his new project, Chaney Vision Dreams Volume 1. And he also just made his directorial debut with his own short film Truthless, where he plays Omar Green. And also in the house today is Todd J. Phillips, who acted alongside Trey in the short film Truthless. He is a fellow actor, musician, producer, entrepreneur, and a barber who runs his own shop out in Harrisburg, PA. I want to thank both of them for coming on. We're going to get all into it. Without further ado, Chaney. Now, just a fun fact to start it off. You're the third Samuel Chaney in your family, and they call you Trey as a spinoff on Trey, Spanish for three, right?
Yeah.
I just thought
you got it down. Yeah, you did the research. My grandfather, Samuel Chaney Sr., my father, Samuel Chaney Jr., I'm Samuel Chaney III, and yeah, of course, Trey is the spinoff. The spinoff stage name. Yeah.
I just thought that was something cool to throw out right at the beginning. Now we're going to start off by talking about dancing, because that's where it all began.
Yeah.
Very impressive. You began making your own dance routines at 4 years old. Mm-hmm. And at 8 years old, you began winning competitions and earning money. It was at that age you said you jumped off the porch and you knew you wanted to be in entertainment.
Yeah.
Now, will anything ever top winning Apollo Theater for the first time? You know, how does something like winning the talent show at Lincoln Theater compare?
Well, I guess being at a young age, being 8 years old and, having a family support of, my parents and my uncle and, cousins, aunts and uncles. I don't think nothing tops winning Apollo at 8, because that's like fresh out the gate.
Right.
That's a kid, so and competing against adults at that young age and having a chance to win thousands of dollars every time that I won first place.
Right.
But when you fast forward to the 20-year-old Trey, who after, I was able to go through life and, go through teenage years and getting involved with so many negative things, trying to turn negatives into positives. The Lincoln Theater was a highlight for me, because that's where I was discovered from Linda Townsend Management,
yep.
the talent agent from Clinton, Maryland. So nothing tops the 8-year-old performing at Apollo, but then it's almost like a tie when it comes to me performing at the Lincoln Theater and winning, because I was discovered there. So it's almost like it's the same type of energy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the way that my career just jumped off after that, because of course, The Wire came after that,
Yeah, I didn't think anything was going to top that, man. At first, I had it as Apollo versus Lincoln. Then I thought about it. I was like, man, nothing could beat Apollo, I don't think.
Yeah.
And when it comes to dancing, you were inspired by Michael Jackson, Bobby Brown, and MC Hammer, just to name a few. Michael K. Williams, in his book, he talks about how his love for dancing began with him imitating a Janet Jackson video.
Right.
Now, people love to hear insight from the people that acted with Michael about what it was like acting with him.
Yeah.
I was wondering, since you two both shared that love of dancing, did you guys ever get into any discussion about that at all?
Yeah. Well, before me and Michael K. Williams actually worked together. I used to see Mike in DC performing at when BET had BET Soundstage with Maya, the singer Maya.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not that I was automatically like, okay, who is this guy? I'm a fan of this guy, and he's a great dancer. But I did remember him from that. So when we were able to, start working together on The Wire, I shared that with him, and he's like, oh man, yeah, and then he's seen some of my previous work in the dance world, and as I was coming up. But it's just funny how the universe work, man. We bring this stuff back around,
Absolutely,
full circle, and we're like, okay, we started off doing this, and now we're doing this.
Yeah, no doubt. And that was all I had about dancing. We're going to quickly talk about a little bit about growing up in Prince George's County.
Yeah, for sure.
Your book said that you inherited beef between Swan Road and Regency Meadows. In high school, you felt pressured to bring weapons to school. The chapter, You Either Do or You Die, said it was nothing for students to bring a hammer to school.
Yeah.
Me and my dad on this channel, we have a thing called Cigar Discussions. We kind of just sit back, smoke cigars, and bring up news headlines and things like that. And we brought up a headline where 2 PG County students got caught with guns on the first day of school.
Right.
We had a hard time understanding why that was.
Yeah.
And then I read your chapter, and it actually helped me to understand, maybe why kids felt the need to do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And again, I'm going to bring up Michael K. Williams' book. He has a quote on this topic. Not much had changed from this time, except each generation is starting a little earlier than the last. How do the things that you see in headlines today relate or differ from the things that you grew up around in PG County?
Well, it's relatable to my situation and what I see with young people, not just growing up in Prince George's County, but just around the world. It's that pressure of feeling like you got to protect yourself almost like at all times, even though that's not, the logic or the right thing to think, at a young age, or I'm not even going to say at a young age, just being in school. But, the type of world that we live in, it's really unfortunate. It's unfortunate in the type of situations and things that young people, men and women, get themselves into when it comes to, violence, when it comes to gangs, when it comes to altercations or beefs, as we call it. So, that chapter, Do or Die, that, because everything that people read in The Truth You Can't Betray, which is my book, I give you the truth about who I am. It's almost like how we're having this conversation on Harbor Discussions. It's the way I speak, that's how I write. It's not no crazy, Shakespeare type of thesis, none of that stuff. But I wanted to share that part of my life to, show young people as well as adults that some of the mistakes I made is not what I want for other kids to make.
Right.
Carrying those weapons, getting involved in beefs, that caused a lot of harm to not just me on my side, but other people, and that's something that I just don't want to put that type of energy out there into the world.
Yeah.
Even though I went through it, I like to speak about what I went through so somebody else doesn't have to go through it.
Right. Yeah, and just kind of touching on what you were saying about men in today's society, it's like, I think a lot of ego gets involved. I remember being in school. I won't get into too many details, but let's just say, like, I got into an altercation, and I was kind of stuck between whether or not I should act back on that, get your get back or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just thought that it wasn't worth my time. You know what I mean? Because all things considered, I was never really hurt from the situation. But I had friends that wanted to kind of do something, and it was just, I felt like I had to get past my ego a little and just take that, because I kind of played the chess moves out, and it wouldn't have ended well, because all of this stuff is just a back and forth. I feel like it never ends. That's what
real.
The Wire talks about. It's how the cycle just repeats.
Yeah, that's true, man.
Yeah,
that's true.
Speaking of The Wire, it wouldn't be a Trey Chaney interview without talking about The Wire, man. Now, The Wire was your first audition for Weebay back in 2001. Ended up playing Poot. That's how your story begun. Now, Linda Townsend, like you said, she was your industry connect that told you about the audition for Weebay, and then after you auditioned, HBO ended up creating the character Poot just for you. Can you go a little more in depth on how the audition process works? Is there any choice in the characters you can choose to audition for, or do you usually only hear about a single role?
Well, for me, in that case, it was just you hear about a certain role. Linda Townsend at the time, who was representing me, she said my first audition, first job was The Wire.
Yep.
So, that process was you need to go in and read for this character named Weebay. And I had to remember a monologue. So when I went in there with Pat Moran and Associates, who's the casting director, of course, anybody that knows Pat Moran knows that Pat ain't no pushover. She's tough. If you don't know what a slate is, if you don't know, what a profile is, she gonna tell you you don't know what you're doing. And that was my first encounter with her. It was like I could tell you probably never did this before, but this is how you do it. And when I went in there and I read for Weebay, I left out kind of feeling like I didn't book. I left out like that. I left out feeling like, man, I don't know if this is right for me or whatever. But, that's something that I don't recommend for people in the arts to do. Like I said, I always love to share my own experiences for people not to feel that way. You got to have some confidence,
right.
But, a week later, I was getting a call back. And for anybody that don't know what a callback is when it comes to, being in this acting business, that means the directors, writers, producers, they want to possibly hire you, but it's not stick and stone. It's not a guarantee.
Got it.
So I got the call back. And when I go to the call back, it's David Simon, Nina Noble, Robert Cosbury, rest in peace to him, Ed Burns and Pat Moran. And I go in there and I read the same monologue, and I stumbled over some words. And I remember them saying, it's okay, but just this time, get it right, And through the grace of God, man, I went in there and I breezed right through the monologue for Weebay. And 3 weeks later, in October of 2001, I was getting a call saying, well, you didn't book Weebay, but you booked this character named Malik Poot Carr, who was only supposed to be, from my knowledge, in maybe the first 2 episodes in the first season. And as you can see, this character, Malik Poot Carr, goes on to become 5 seasons.
Last man standing.
Last man standing, getting a job, working at Foot Locker, getting out the game, going through a couple of things throughout the seasons of having to, shoot his best friend. And
yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Seeing his friends get locked up and him getting locked up. I mean, it just, my story arc for playing this character was a story arc that still happens in today's world, today's society amongst, African American men. You do have a choice. It's you're going to stay in the game. You see what happens when you stay in the game. It's no way around not going to jail, not getting killed.
Yep.
That's the nature of the game.
2 options.
Yeah, but it's overcoming those type of actions to say, okay, I've seen enough. I've done enough at a young age. I need to make a decision now before it costs me the rest of my life. And then you get out the game, you get a job, and you making a decent living. And that's just, that's why I said I think my story arc was something that surprised a lot of people, but it's the reality of what happens out here in the world,
Yeah.
So those were some of the best years of my life, and I'm still reaping the benefits off of playing Poot on The Wire.
Absolutely. Knowing all the Wire characters, who would you have auditioned for if you could go back and choose?
That's a hard one, man, because, Weebay was definitely one of my favorites. Bodie,
Yeah.
J.D. Williams, that's my brother. Man, just all of the characters had a significance in just a way about them.
That's true.
Down to Omar, from Wallace, from D'Angelo. I mean, we could go on and on just about the different characters, the police officers, Herkin Carver, Bunk and McNulty. We can go down a list of characters who, if you were the right age or you were the right height or you had the right look, any of those characters could have easily been whatever it would have been for me
Right.
auditioning. But that's the thing, when people ask me about favorites from The Wire, that's just tough to answer because every character had their own thing that the world loved, not just
Yeah.
us, the whole world. So yeah, man, that's pretty much sums that up.
I gotcha. And I think that when it comes to I forget what I was gonna say.
Go ahead.
No, I forget. If I remember, I'll go back to it. So you always get asked about the scene where you and Bodie kill Wallace, aka Michael B. Jordan's character, and your emotions were real in that scene due to your friend Eric passing away before
Yeah.
filming. And I believe it was your connection with him and your emotions that you felt. I think that's what helped make the scene what it was.
Yeah.
I was wondering, since everybody always asks about that scene, if you felt comfortable maybe sharing a little bit more about Eric and what he meant to you, and
Yeah.
maybe like a memory worth sharing.
Yeah, Eric Hayes, man, we met when I was 13, 14 years old. And I mean, that was my brother. That was my brother. That was a great we did a lot of crazy things together as kids, growing up in Forestville, Maryland, Washington, DC being right around the corner, Baltimore being 45 minutes or an hour away. We did a lot of things that young, curious teenagers are just doing, anything from trying to sell drugs, smoking weed, drinking, sex at a very young age, getting girls pregnant, just all types of crazy things. And I think what it was though, we came from good family households.
Yeah.
We had both of our parents, we lived in a great neighborhood, townhouses. And I think we were just curious to what the streets had to offer. Unfortunately for him, it took, a turn for the worse, being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I was actually supposed to be with him.
Oh.
When the day that he was killed, for some reason, I was busy with doing something else. You know what I'm saying? Probably doing something up to no good. But for him, unfortunately, the life of being in the game or wanting to be in the game caught up with him, and
Right.
he was killed. But that was a real eye opener for me and a lot of our friends who still to this day, we speak about him. His birthday's coming up October 14th. And it hasn't been a day that goes past that me and the homies now still talk about him, because Eric didn't get to see 18, 19 years old. He didn't get to see 21. He didn't get to see 20, at your age, so
Wow.
it, for us to, and then Eric was the guy that was with me when I booked The Wire.
Wow.
He went to the audition with me. He was there when I got the call that I'll be working on the show, but unfortunately, he never even got a chance to see The Wire.
Yeah.
So it was, it's a little tough with thinking about that sometimes. But I love speaking about it because that's like the therapy for me that's like me being a therapist to these young people today. Like, look, man, don't wait for something tragic in your life to happen for you to change your life.
Right.
If you're going down a negative road and if you're going down the wrong path.
Yeah, I just thought it was important to mention
Yeah.
that because, like I said, everybody always talks about that scene. And then doing my research, when I found that out, I was like, man, nobody seems to be going deeper.
Yeah, nobody
you know what I
said
mean?
that. Yeah, that's what's up, man. Yeah.
And I remembered what I was saying earlier because you were talking about how all the characters in The Wire were so special. I feel like we all know each character of The Wire in some way. Like, I just remember watching the show and thinking, man, I know somebody like that. I went to school with this girl that swear it looks just like chemo. Reminds me of Birdman.
Yeah.
But that's just what I was gonna say earlier.
No, that's what's up, man.
D'Angelo, he explains chess using street analogy, and it becomes a metaphor in The Wire.
Yeah.
On Saints and Sinners, there was even scenes of Rex playing chess in the back of his shops. You
Crazy.
brought him a chessboard while he was in the hospital unit.
Wow. Yeah.
They make points in both shows to show how making good chess moves relates to making good street moves. With chess being a part of the shows you're in, I was just curious if you ever were or if you are a chess player.
No. No, but I watch and my friends are chess players, and I might study it with them and understand it, but I have not. I'm not a chess player, but from the shows that I've been a part of and being around the game, almost like the sport, I've been able to understand certain ways people move, man. Mm-hmm. You gotta really be careful. You gotta be careful, and you gotta be, you gotta be transparent. You gotta be clear on what the next move could possibly be. The next move could either take you out of there or it could get you a little further ahead.
Right.
So that's my view on chess. It's like, okay, this is something that, especially if you're comparing it to the drug game. Yep. It's like, come on now, it ain't checkers. No. We know that, so it's just, I'm glad that chess is always used in the shows that I happen to be a part of,
Yeah. I actually ended up getting a chessboard after seeing it so many times because I had a teacher. His name was Kamani Jones. He taught me chess, and I played it with him a couple times, and I enjoyed it while playing with him. But then, just after seeing it so much and actually respecting it, after seeing how smart you got to really be good at chess, I was like, I'm gonna get into that.
Yeah, that's dope, man.
And Poot, he was always a ladies' man on the show.
Oh, my God.
D'Angelo, he slaps the phone out of your hand for talking to a girl.
Yeah.
You and Bodie always talk about getting burnt.
Yeah.
Could you see any of the real-life situations in your book, like getting involved with a girl from enemy territory, or the situation with Kesha getting reenacted, or just a scene in The Wire where Poot and a lady get into some sort of situation?
The reality of it, Poot being a ladies' man, of course, I guess I could say before I was married.
Of course.
Yeah, a lot of women, a lot of different women, and some of those situations, I could relate to him being a ladies' man. Now, I guess the reality of it, my character was so much of just going crazy over women at all times. Now that was just a character. It's like, all right, how much of this are you going to continue to entertain? To a point where a woman can just throw you off your course, throw you off the business that you got to take care of and doing what you're doing. Now, that part of it, no. But yeah, just relating to who Poot was in there. I've had some great experiences with different women.
Yeah. Did you ever think that there would be some sort of crazier story in The Wire about Poot and a lady?
Man, if you know what, I think if The Wire would have went another season, like a 6th season, I might have ended up getting married or something.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so after The Wire, you said you had huge expectations, but that like management and celebrities stopped calling. And you ended up hustling on the streets of D.C. You were selling your book and your CDs out the trunk of your car.
Yeah.
You ended up getting a job. It was a glass repair company, right?
Yeah.
Now, I just had a quick question because I worked as an electrical apprentice for a year out of high school. And now everywhere I go, I'm always looking at the lights and electric. Do you actually look at glass at places you go sometimes?
To be honest with you, only if it's cracked.
Gotcha, yeah.
Yeah, only if it's cracked. You know what I'm saying? If it's a cracked glass, it brings back memories of Royal Glass.
Yeah, does it stick out like a sore thumb?
Oh yeah. Because it's almost like, and don't get me wrong, nothing is wrong with artists that get jobs. I don't look at no type of artist in a way of, man, if you're doing this thing, you're working. No, you kind of need like 7 different incomes anyway. So whatever it is that you're doing, as long as it's legal, you gotta, in order to, pursue your dreams, you gotta have some income
Right.
to add to that, add fuel to the fire of you pursuing your dreams.
Yeah.
Safe Flight was definitely Royal Glass at the time was definitely one of the gigs that embraced me. Howery and Simon Law Firm. This was all after The Wire ended. I found myself at a crossroads, not getting calls from Hollywood or independent films, or being able to keep a steady gig in the industry. So along with me hustling on the streets of Washington D.C., selling my own merchandise, and whether it be books, my independent films, my music, I was working to fund that part of it. If I needed to re-up on books, I needed money to go do that. So that's just a part of my journey that I love to speak about, because it helped build, the hustler and the entrepreneur in who I am today.
Right.
So I always just, man, anybody that's out there pursuing a dream, it's nothing wrong with going to go get a 9-to-5 job to fuel that. You need outside money to pay for all of this.
Yeah, LinkedIn level money.
Exactly. If this is not paying for this, then you need something else to say, okay, well, in order for me to buy these mics, this computer, this, all of this equipment, I need to go do something legal to fund it.
Yep.
It's nothing wrong with it, because this is, the ultimate dream. This is the dream, the podcast, the Harbor Discussions with you. This is going to take you somewhere else that you probably can't even imagine right now.
I believe so.
So yeah, man, I'm big on that,
Absolutely. And so how often do you think on these times? Because it's like you said, you kind of thought they were necessary to build your hustle, and I'm assuming you wouldn't go back and change a thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't, because at the end of the day, the blessing is in the journey. The blessing is in the journey, and it's all about really just understanding that wherever we're at in life, this is exactly where we're supposed to be right now.
Yeah.
We do got to be careful with certain decisions that we do make. You know what I'm saying? No, we can't control everything that happens in life, but at the same time, some of the stuff that we feel that we can control, the way we move, we got to move in that positive path, that direction that's going to keep us, staying afloat.
Yeah, you have that mantra, trust the process.
Yeah,
and
trust
that's
the
something that kind of
process.
came to me, I want to say a month or two ago. I was just kind of in the basement thinking about where I wanted to go and things like that, and I just kept thinking about where I work. I work in a warehouse, pushing
Right.
pallets of books around all day, and basically I just kept thinking that, this all adds up to something. I was thinking about things I've gone through as a child and things like that. And I
Right.
just trust the process, because all of the things that you go through, they mean something.
That's true.
If you work for it, it means something.
That right there, trusting the process and allowing the process to happen is something that is so important to getting anywhere in life, because we all have to understand that everything that's gonna happen is not now in this present moment.
Right.
So you have to understand everything that's happening right now in the present moment is going to take you somewhere, like you just said. It's nothing wrong with having a 9-to-5 at all. It's something wrong without having a 9-to-5. And if you do have a 9-to-5, it's good to have a purpose and a plan. Like, your 9-to-5 can be used to get you to where you want to get to, investing in your dreams, like he said, your hardware and your software, the things that you need to do. That's also important, investing in yourself, right?
Yeah.
Believing in yourself, investing in yourself, trusting the process. I had to jump in because that's a topic that
Yeah.
Absolutely,
we're
that was
always
great.
talking about that, because you have to know that that's an important ingredient in getting and propelling anywhere in life to move forward.
Yeah.
So,
And then really, like, just going off of what Todd is saying, for all of us in here right now, that when I say trust the process without getting emotionally attached to the end result, that's a big deal, because with anything that you do as a creative, as an actor, as an artist, like right now, Harbor Discussions podcast, the process, you don't know what's coming during all of this. It's going to be a lot of sleepless nights. It's going to be a lot of long hours. It's going to be a lot of days that nothing actually happens. Mm-hmm. And getting emotionally attached to the nothing, saying, man, this might not work, and you just giving up, that's not the right direction to go. Mm-mm. Because it's always going to, before you see light at the end, it's always going to get dark. It's always going to get dark in any profession that you in. But you just got to have the willpower, and you got to have the motivation to just keep on going, because little do you know, man, everybody's watching. Everybody's watching everything that we're doing. And I'm not letting nobody see me give up, because I've been in it for so long. It's like, yo, you gotta fight. You gotta fight through the pain, through the struggles, through the suffering, because it's going to work out, and that's just, that's the mindset that I'm in, that I've been in since I was a kid. A lot of stuff that may not have happened as quick as I wanted it to happen back then, I didn't get discouraged. So now it's happening. And then I can look back on things and say, wow, because I didn't give up. Now look, now look at everything that's happening. And it's also important to take risk. Mm-hmm. You got to take risk if you want to really benefit off of the reward.
Absolutely. That was great. Thank you.
My man.
Yeah. I was going to say, they say that you need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Wow.
And I think that, me working a 9 to 5, or anybody else that's working a job they don't want to work, that is almost the biggest motivator. Having to do what you don't want to do. Yeah. That definitely is what keeps me going. You know what I mean? Because it's like you said, there are days where you won't sleep. And then there's days where you get really discouraged because you get too caught up with numbers, or, something bad happens.
Right.
But a lot of people got to look at what they have instead of what they don't have.
Yeah.
And it's just about, like you said, not giving up.
Well, my one thing that I always stress right now is, gratitude is my attitude. And that ties into what you were saying about being grateful and thankful for what you do have, because it could be worse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, us just waking up every single day, having a roof over our head, having cars to get us from A to B, having food in the refrigerator. That's it's a lot of people that don't have that. It's a lot of people that didn't get to wake up this morning and tell their mother and their father or their girlfriend or their wives or their kids that they love them. I mean, we were able to wake up and do that today. So, I mean, like I said, man, gratitude is the attitude. And of course, gratitude and being thankful and grateful is the key to success as well, because, and at the end of the day, just like I said, changing your attitude from maybe having a negative mindset to a positive, that always helps too.
Yeah, absolutely. I forget which video I was watching, but I heard somewhere it's exactly what you said, changing the negative to positive. Instead of waking up and going, oh, I got to go to work, wake up and say, I get to go to work.
I get to go to work.
I have a job, because guess what? Somebody a lot of people woke up today and didn't have nowhere to go.
Exactly.
So you got to definitely appreciate having a job, no matter what it is.
Yep.
No doubt.
You can't go to the next level unless you're grateful and genuinely appreciate what you're doing, because like he said, there's people that don't have what you have, and that's just the way it is.
That's real.
Absolutely. And I accidentally skipped over a question. It's kind of going back to the chess. In your opinion, which show did J.D. Williams play the role of the smart pawn better, as Jabari or Bodie?
No. You know what, man? J.D. played the role of, I gotta say, he played the role of Bodie. He played the role of Bodie better until he couldn't play it no more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Into that ending, of the era of, Bodie Broadus, But even in Saints and Sinners, starring on Saints and Sinners with JD, it's incredible, man. Like we get to, because me and JD, at the end of the day, me and this guy, we're part of history. You know what I'm saying? Like just being a part of the Wire, and we're a part of history. So being able to play on another show together, two totally separate, different characters, is fun. You know. So, but I got to say the Wire, and I got to give something to Saints and Sinners as well.
Gotcha. All right, now we're going to talk about Streets. You starred in Meek Mill's film called Streets, and you
Yeah.
played Troy, the leader of Meek's opposing crew.
Yeah.
Just curious, what's your relationship with Meek Mill like, or what was it
Yeah.
like around that time?
Relationship with Meek Mill right now is dope. It's cool. Whenever I see him, you know, everybody's busy. Everybody's running in and out of the country, in and out of town. I seen Meek, I want to say last year, and it was just love. We always bring up Streets because that was Meek's first film.
Nice.
You know,
yeah.
and Meek had already having credits. You know, just to see him kind of like speak into existence what he's doing now. He manifested everything he's doing. I was there. You know, I can honestly say that when Meek had braids. Like I was there. I know where he's from, you know, and to see him come from where he's from to now, it just showed, man, that all positive things are possible. You know, he came from nothing. You know what I'm saying? And now he's, you know, this guy's a superstar, you know, but Streets was a great experience. You know, Jamal Hill, that's my brother, who you know, wrote it, directed it, and all of those guys over there, man. I had fun shooting that.
Absolutely. And does Meek Mill stay in your playlist? What's your favorite Meek Mill song?
Definitely, you know, the intro, Dreams and Nightmares. That's
Yeah.
definitely my favorite.
It's
But
hard
Meek
to beat.
Mill, no, I listen to all of Meek Mill's, you know, all of his albums. Every time Meek drops something, because I'm, you know, other than me just being a friend, I'm a fan.
Oh,
You know,
of course.
and I love his music. I love his music. His music gets you going.
Yeah. And similarly, right, King Von mentioned Snoop Pearson on his song Crazy Story.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts on King Von when he came around and when you first, if you heard that reference?
Yeah, King Von, man. I mean, you know, rest in peace to King Von.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, you know, what happened was what happened. But his music, you know, the energy in his music and the truthfulness in his music was what it was, you know, for a reason. He was a special dude, you know what I'm saying? And his music, people related to his music on some of the stuff that he said. Mentioning Snoop's name, of course, is a very amazing compliment. Anytime the Wire characters or anybody's mentioned in music, we're part of the culture, so it's only right to do that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So yeah, man, I really respected that.
Yeah. Do you got any stories worth sharing from your time in Philly?
Philly, you know, the home of brotherly love, the city of brotherly love. Philly, I just shot a movie in Philly with my brother Todd Wolf. It's called We Need to Talk. You know, and I play a video gamer.
Okay.
So I play Tango Unchained, and it's out on Amazon, it's on Tubi, it's on all streaming platforms. But James Maslow, you know, is a part of it. Jonathan Hernandez, you know, a whole bunch of different stars that's in it, man. I play a video gamer, Todd Wolf, he wrote it, he directed it. Amazing film that just shows how being a video gamer can really wrap up your whole entire life and makes you forget about people that
Yeah.
that's really close to you, that you really should be appreciating, but this game has you tied up. So it just gives you, you know, the overall gist of that. And man, I'm just Philly is an amazing city. I love Philly. You know, anytime I go, of course the cheesesteaks, you gotta get your eat on, you know.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about We Own This City. You played Officer Gordon Hawk. The show
Yeah.
is about the Baltimore Police Department's gun trace task force, their corruption, and then the murder and protests for Freddie Gray. In 2015, you and some of the cast of The Wire were in a performance called Wired Up in Baltimore and took turns reciting stories told by members of Baltimore's community about the protests. How did your work on the show bring you back to the time of Wired Up? And being from Maryland, what else can you recall from the time of Freddie Gray's murder and how it affected you and the people around you?
Well, definitely, you know, Freddie Gray's murder really just affected not just me, but the whole entire world. And going back to Baltimore just last year and playing Police Officer Gordon Hawk on We Own This City, HBO Max, was a complete honor to be able to tell the story of the Gun Trace Task Force. It One thing about David Simon, George Pelicanos, Nina Noble, Ed Burns, they don't miss when it comes to shows,
Not at all.
and being able to portray this character, Dre Severino, who was the police officer, the detective consultant, who kind of like just walked me through everything. Because when I book a role, I really want to do the research and I really want to become this character. So of course, have I ever been a police officer? No, but from the looks of that, people were really like, "Wow, you," and I'm like, I studied it. I studied how they walked. I studied how they talked, how they wore the badges, and it was just an experience playing it, but it was also very heavy because that was a true story. So, covering those topics, when you say, how did it feel coming back and reliving or even reenacting moments that other people may have acted on, it was a heavy type of set, but we got through it, man. And I really commend HBO when even having the mental health advisors on set, because the dialogue in the story, like I said, it was a heavy, deep story, and a lot of times some of the guys that were playing police officers had to kind of like unpack all of that.
Right.
And mentally, when you really relive something that was true and that was bad, you gotta you need somebody to talk to, whether you know it or not.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And you had your song "Know the Feeling" featured on the show.
Yeah.
Since you are mostly known for your acting, I was wondering, is it nice to see other aspects of your career like music get shown off? And do you wish people would start to give a little more recognition to those aspects of your career?
Well, for me, first of all, I got to thank HBO just for not only, hiring me as an actor on We Own the City, but picking up my song "Know the Feeling." It's produced by CR The Show. I wrote it. And to have two different conversations, two different negotiations, me as an actor, me as an artist, that was definitely a huge moment for me. Being in my scene, hearing my record in one of my scenes on We Own the City. And as far as musically, I've been blessed, man, to be able to balance both. It's almost like the music, it goes into the acting goes into the music. Right now, we have a project out right now. It's called Chaney Vision Dreams.
Yep.
Volume 1, Do Y'all Hear Me? It's 10 songs, 10 videos shot. And, it's available on all streaming platforms. A lot of people usually say, well, this video, I'm like, the videos are actually available on Tidal, Apple Music, Amazon, and Vivo. And on this record, Todd J. Phillips, he produced 2 records on there, Life of a Hustler, which everybody loves. The video is very touching, and another record called No Comp. And I'm just having a lot of fun as an artist, putting out my music independently on my imprint, Chaney Vision Entertainment, and shooting videos to every song, and then having a relationship with the networks like BET, Revolt, MTV. These networks, they don't just, because they're not just accepting anything just because it's me.
Right.
It's a lot harder for me, actually, because I'm an actor. That's the thing that they know me for. But, for them getting to know me for my music and me being able to earn getting my videos played, they don't care how much money you trying to pay for, the closed caption or none of that. If they don't rock with your music, they not putting it up.
Right.
And for me, I've been blessed to, write this music that people can relate to. Like I said, Life of a Hustler is definitely one of the records on the album that people can relate to. You can relate to being up, being down, being in the middle, having money in the account, next day being broke. It's just life, that's just what happens. And like I said, man, Chaney Vision Dreams Volume 1, Do Y'all Hear Me? The Do Y'all Hear Me is kind of like the substitution for just telling people, okay, if you don't hear me, you're going to hear it now.
Right.
And you're going to see it. So that's just the Volume 1 aspect of what this Chaney Vision Dreams project represents. And, right now, man, I'm happy to share that with the world. We was just on the way up here, we were talking about, we almost finished part 2, Volume 2 right now. We got so many other records that we gotta put out. And you know, man, like even me and Todd's partnership on the music and on the movies and acting, it's just been a blessing to really be able to do what we love to do every day.
Right.
We're waking up, we're doing our thing.
And guess what? We ain't gonna stop.
Nope.
We're gonna keep hitting them.
We're gonna keep giving y'all that energy. We're gonna keep giving y'all dope music, dope hip hop, because that's what we love. We love the hip hop music, the message, the energy. You know what I mean? Music that you can feel, that makes you get up and wanna do and be what we're talking about, which is chasing your dreams, never giving up, trusting the process, all of that stuff.
Nice.
But anyway, if you don't have it, make sure you go down.
It's out right now. It's out.
Right. So, and shout out to all the producers, show, all the producers on that album. Everybody did a phenomenal job. All the music is so dope, and I am excited for this whole project to be put out for the world to take and listen to.
Me too.
Yes.
Saints and Sinners, your character Kendrick was introduced on the season 1 finale. He ended up being resented by his grandmother later on because of the tarnish he would bring to the Johnsons' reputation in the church. You mentioned how growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, you were always held to a high standard and your actions were judged based on those principles. Your book talks about how your father was upset when you got a girl pregnant, and because of your involvement in the church, how other incidences as a kid, getting into trouble in and out of school, it kind of seemed to have an effect on that. When filming Saints and Sinners, did any of those memories come up of your time as a Jehovah's Witness and having to maintain your image?
Well, you know, growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, first of all, shout out to the religion. You know, where I'm at in my life right now and my relationship with God is totally different, which is, you know, positive. You know, I feel I'm not putting no type of pressure on myself when it comes to living my dream and fulfilling my dream, because of course I'm an adult now and I got my own family and my own life, but my relationship with God is definitely, you know, very powerful. I believe in just being a great person and being a motivation and inspiration to the world. I don't knock nobody for whatever religion that they are part of. You know, everybody's human. You know, all of us are imperfect, and definitely with Saints and Sinners, I guess I can say it never really came across my mind about like religion as far as me personally. Right. Now, of course, Saints and Sinners is a show that takes place at Cypress Church, but as you can see, as the show went on, that 3rd through 6th season wasn't even really in the church. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I'm still a little early on. In the show.
It was a little. It got a little gangster in there for after a while. I'm like, you like, wait a minute, this ain't even on the church no more. But yeah, man. But just like I said, you know, just having that understanding of where I'm at when it comes to God, you know, when it comes to the universe. I'm grateful and I'm thankful just to have that relationship, you know.
And so the baptism summer revival scene.
Yeah.
Aside from that big confession that was obviously just for the show, your acting, man, it seemed very sincere in that scene. And I was just curious, was there any kind of genuine feeling to that revival? Did you feel any sort of spiritual cleanse, even through the acting?
Yeah, man, I did. You know, and a lot of people don't know, but I can't swim. So when I had to get baptized, David Banner, that's my brother. You know, that scene maybe took an hour because I was like, don't drop me underwater. I'm gonna drown or something. But yeah,
I can't swim either. It's okay.
Yeah, it was a real spiritual cleanse though. It was because, and I'm gonna say that from just the experience of David Banner, you know, because he's a phenomenal all around artist, actor, producer, all of that. So him making me, you know, feel comfortable, like, look, man, all these $1 million of cameras is on this set. We gotta knock this scene out. We're gonna get this done over with. It's gonna be quick, and that's what we did, you know, and just having that scene, I'm like, wow, they gave me this responsibility to sing, and we pulled it off, you know. So yeah, I felt great. I felt, that I had I felt healed. Like, okay, I got through it. Like I could
Yeah.
get through anything.
Yeah, like I said, just seemed very genuine.
Yeah.
In the chapter of your book, A Mother's Note Set My Baby Free, you said that you were on reproof at the time because of your role in The Wire and the things you did in that show not really fitting the morals of the church.
Yeah.
Did playing the role of Kendrick, someone who was trying to turn their life around, did that allow you to get that better role that your mom wanted, or does it still kind of involve a little too much street stuff?
Well, I kind of like with my mom, like, cause now it's not, it's a little different for me. I'm, me being an adult,
Right.
it's almost like they are proud of everything that I do.
Right.
Like when they see this and hear this, they're gonna be proud of this, So, I think when I was younger and when I was under my mom and dad's roof, under their direction, everything. If you like you under your parents' roof,
Yep.
you got to listen to what they say.
Oh, yeah.
If they say, I don't care how old you are, if you got to be in at a certain time, either you going to go with the rules or you got to get out. It's one or the other. And, for me, I think now that my parents are still seeing me just pursue this dream and accomplish so much that I've accomplished to this point, because we're not done yet. You know what I'm saying? It's still so much more that we got to reach out there and touch. And I think I know for a fact that they just proud of seeing me continue to prosper and continue to move on this career. So as far as her saying, let my baby be free or let him go, yeah, she like, yeah, he did it. He's doing it.
Nice. A lot of people say that you have to give up certain things to obtain success. Would you say that going on reproof was part of that for you?
I want to say, well, going on reproof, it probably was just, I mean, it's a part of a standard with a certain religion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's another thing. If whatever religion that you're a part of, if you're willing to follow whatever, if you're not willing to follow whatever guidelines, you got to get out of it. So, for me, when it comes to success and giving things up, sacrifice can come in different ways.
Yeah.
You might got to sacrifice partying all the time. Because you got to be in the house studying. You might got to sacrifice, indulging in alcohol or drugs or whatever you got going on.
Friends that don't fit your image and
Oh
character.
no, definitely people that's not on the same energy wavelength as you. You gotta, and that sometimes hurts. That sometimes hurts that you gotta leave certain people behind that's not fit for you at the time. I mean, Todd can speak about that too. Like, it's a lot of people that you might have seen them here one day, but it's okay to outgrow, somebody. And that's not a negative thing. That's not saying, oh, I don't fool with you no more. I don't rock with you no more. It's just, I'm on this path, you on this path. Right. We gotta do what we gotta do to take care of us and our families.
Yeah, it's never a happy thing. It's never like, oh, I'm growing past them. Haha. It's like more like, man, I loved him, but I just couldn't be around him.
And of course, in life, things get emotional. You get feelings, but when you're doing stuff like this, you have to understand that everybody that started with you ain't always going to be the people that end up with you or finish with you.
Yeah.
Man, through my process of acting and I own a barbershop, True Legends Barbershop in Harrisburg, PA.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And through just doing that, I can tell you I've personally experienced that change a lot of times, you know what I mean? And the more closer you get, it's, that's a part of that process, like what we're talking about. The more closer you get to where you're going, you'll see those people are gonna fall off. Mm-hmm. Everybody's not gonna, it's like a plane. You know what I mean? You going up, when you elevating, everybody's not going to be able to go up to that altitude with you and maintain the oxygen level with you because you're elevated.
They're not all built for that.
With that, no. But you just gotta stay focused, do the work, and try. Even though everyday life is hard, trust me, deal with stuff every day.
All the time.
Man, I had a situation last week at my barbershop. I came in there, the roof was leaking. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, I had to walk away, and I sat down and I said, you know what? It's okay. It's okay, because these are the times that teach you how to pivot.
Yes.
Through it. And that's the way we get through life, right? We don't ignore things. We learn how to pivot through it, right? That's what we got to do. We got to learn how to maneuver. It's like GPS. So I sat down. I said, you know what? This is okay. It's all right. Because as long as I maintain a positive attitude in it, and I realize, you know, this is what makes me who I am, and this is what is going to allow me to be able to deal with things like this and learn from it, to not get distracted and drift away from understanding that it's okay. It's all right. It's a part of the process.
Yeah. Right?
And guess what? Somebody came out that night. We stayed in there. We was in there late. We was in there till like 2 a.m. But it was one roofer, and we fixed it. We got it done. It was what it was. But man, you know, we have to stay positive minded.
Yeah, I like what you said about the GPS, because it's, if you got somewhere that you're trying to go and then you have a roadblock, are you just gonna stop the whole trip? No. It's gonna maneuver you around.
Yeah.
You know, so don't ever just stop at the roadblock.
That's real.
Get through it. The failures, only way you truly fail is if you give up.
That's it.
The hard times is what makes you good. It's like the diamonds, right? Diamonds have to go through a certain amount of pressure to become that diamond that you see.
Right.
Right? And that's the way it is.
Yeah.
You gotta accept the pressure that makes you into that diamond that you're trying to be.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true, man.
His motivation rolls off the tongue for y'all. I was gonna ask for some, but y'all already given it. So you moved to Atlanta to be able to have family closer to you while filming Saints and Sinners. Aside from that DMV grind to get any and everything that you want, what else about Maryland either never leaves or you miss when you are out of the state?
I miss the crabs.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah, like in Atlanta, it ain't no crabs, bruh. And I miss my family. You know, of course you miss, because my whole family is here. They're in DMV. So, you know, when you're out in Atlanta, it's just me, my wife, and my son. It's just, you know, it's just us.
Right.
And we've learned how to maneuver out there, and you know, I mean, just even jumping out there in 2017 when we decided to say, okay, we're going to move on faith and just see what happens. That's what, when I speak about the risk, when I speak about jumping out there and taking a risk, it's like we risked it, and now it's like we jumped off the cliff and we flew. You know, I mean, because even buying a brand new crib in 2020 during the pandemic, you know, I got a crib built from the ground up. Like, nice. Like, wow. You know, I didn't never think I would do that going out there. That wasn't, you know, and it's stuff that I'm doing out in Atlanta that I probably wouldn't have or couldn't have did in DMV.
Yeah.
You know, so now it's like, wow, I really can move to another city, another state, set up shop and get things going.
Yeah.
And that's what it was.
Gotcha. Recently, you made your directorial debut on Amazon Prime with Truthless, your short film. You played the main character, OG, a.k.a. Omar Green. Now, as soon as I saw that was your name, I thought, was that name an homage to Omar Little at all?
When I said Omar, I did think about him. I did think about him because originally the name was just going to be OG. Right. But I said Omar Green. It just came to me.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it came to me, and man, you know, I had fun doing it. Todd was in it. You know what I'm saying? And we just had fun. We shot the whole thing in Jacksonville, Florida. I wanted to just have some fun with the idea of, what if I did a short film on my own, not a huge budget, but I love New Jack City. I love Boys in the Hood. I love, you know, I love all those movies. And I'm like, what if I just was trying to be this character all wrapped in one? And I you know, we pulled it off, and people love that.
Yeah.
They love that project, you know.
Absolutely. And I believe, this is kind of the case, but is this the character that you think most people come to expect when they think of the roles that you play because of how you started out and things like that? 'Cause
Yeah,
I was watching
definitely.
Saints and Sinners recently, and then because your character on there, it's made for cable, so it's not really very
It's not
explicit.
gangster, yeah.
And then I started playing Truthless, and I was like, oh, this is definitely different.
Yeah. Well, that was another reason why I did Truthless. I wanted to give my fans what they kind of wanted to see.
Yeah.
I'm like, let me give, because it's a balance with everything. Saints and Sinners is definitely not Poot from The Wire or
No.
Omar Green, but and even the gaming show that I play on, like as a video gamer, that wasn't Omar Green. So with Truthless, I said, yo, I just want to have fun and go crazy on here and just let people wild out and love it.
Yeah, you surely did. You said that being on The Wire was about being a sponge and soaking things in. Now, how does it feel to be the creator now? And what lessons did you use from people like David Simon, George Pelecanos, and Russ Parr for this project?
Well, like you said, man, just being a sponge and learning as much as I can, because when I'm on sets, when I'm around people, I always I want knowledge of what's happening here, what's going on. How do you do this? That's another thing that sums this up. I'm not afraid to ask questions. If it's something that I want to know, I'm asking a question, and I'll even go as far as people know. I'll go as far as writing everything down that you telling me to do. If it's going to benefit, if it's something that could benefit me, and I'm like, yeah, and then I go do it. And that's how Truthless was. I'm like, well, you need a cameraman, you need somebody to write the script, you need boom mics, you need actors, you need to do the, and yeah, and those, it's a good feeling when those people are proud and say, wow, you really took my advice and you did that, and they support it 100%.
Nice. Now, the scene where you're in the cafe and you're talking to some lady about, like, what you gonna do when you get home, and you're, like, collecting money out in the open.
Yeah.
Was this supposed to be OG's spot, kind of like what Rex had going on with all his spots? Because it was just so out in the open. Me and my dad were laughing, like, yo, look at all these people in the background.
Yeah, it was. It was supposed to be the spot that I always had people come meet me at. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So motivational speaking, you said that you began traveling to schools and doing tours after the release of your book. What age group is your main demographic when you go to schools? Is it like elementary, middle, or high school?
Well, it started off elementary, but now it's more so like middle to high school.
Right.
Because now our young people, our teenagers are really going through a lot. They're going through a lot that I went through. So now, you can kind of, you could touch on subjects with them a lot more with everything that's kind of going on in the world.
Absolutely.
These young people these days, it's 12-year-olds, they got phones. They know, everything that's happening with everything. So you could really, you could touch on it. You could touch on certain subjects, man, and really, really be, just real direct and transparent with these young people now.
Right. How often are you booked for motivational talks?
Well, since COVID, it's almost like that slowed a lot of things down with the bookings. But, it's 2022 now, so things are starting to come back around. I'm starting to really get booked for more shows than anything.
Right.
So now it's just like, okay, well, we got to get back into the schools. And we're just going about it, seeing how it's going to work.
Yeah, there's an alternative school that I went to. It's kind of up the block. I was actually gonna think about mentioning that to you and seeing maybe if there was something could be done there. I'd have to talk with the school and things like that. But it's a really great school, and I've kind of talked about going there on my platform before. But
yeah, man,
it's a great school, and a lot of the kids there are troubled, so I think they would benefit from hearing some real advice.
You went there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I unfortunately got kicked out
I got you.
on my sophomore year.
You were in the school?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, ended up being their SGA school president.
I see that, man.
Yeah.
Your energy too good, man. What?
Yes. It wasn't too serious.
Yeah, man. I'm definitely. Yeah, me and you could do that together. I mean, we could get something out of that. Like, that'd be cool.
Awesome. I will definitely get in touch with them. Now, the Trey Chaney conscious diet. Are you still waking up at 4 a.m.?
Yeah. Everybody knows I still wake up at 4 a.m. That's a part of it. One thing that I do have to to get under control a little bit more is I've been partying a lot. You know, I've been having a lot of fun. Because with the Trey Chaney conscious diet, what I do is I'll do 10 days, 30 days, 90 days sometimes.
Gotcha.
Of straight meditation, straight prayer, working out, no alcohol, no partying, no turning up. And that's it. But it's been a while since I locked up. The thing that I'm doing is waking up, praying, meditating at 4 a.m. Mm-hmm. But after that, it's just I'm out. I'm on pro mode, man. We doing a whole bunch of stuff. But I that's something that, a lot of people follow. Mm-hmm. They follow that. They do it. They be like, yo, I kind of, you know what I'm saying? I follow the Trey Chaney conscious diet. And I'm so happy about, people really being a part of that.
Yeah, I've actually I implemented a few things the past couple of days, and I've just, I've been thinking about more and more, following it more to a T.
We're going to work together on some stuff too, man. Your energy is, meeting you in person, I didn't even know you were 20. I'm like.
That means a lot.
Yeah, man, meeting you in person was a little, you got some good energy, man. There's some good things that can happen, and I've really, this platform for you is, this is the real deal. This is what people do. I don't know if you ever had like celebrities.
Nah, you're so far definitely the highest level guest that we've had.
Because I'm like, you seem like you've been doing this for a long time, or what?
Not even a year.
Wow.
This is my I think 6th interview, 5th or 6th one. And like I said, mostly just been with local bands and stuff like that. If you guys know what like the hardcore genre is, going to the local shows and like moshing and stuff like that, it's just how I got into it. I always liked content creation, so I wanted to go on YouTube and do gaming and things like that, and I tried my hand at it, but really it's like that market is so saturated, and I just knew that it wasn't going to pop off. Right. If I stuck to it, sure, but I was just like, I don't think that's the road I should go down, and I started thinking about all the people that I knew that were involved in music, and I had friends that opened up a vintage resale store not too far from here. It's not open anymore, but just the fact that they were able to do it. They were younger than me and opened their own storefront. So just kind of thinking about all these people I know, I was like, and I've been listening to podcasts, for a while at work.
Who you listen to?
I listen to a lot of different people.
Drink Champs and all that shit?
Yeah. So I was going to bring this up with the Trey Chaney conscious diet. Recently, someone I got into was Kevin Samuels. Did you ever listen to him?
Yeah,
I know he was a little controversial sometimes, but you talk about how like making your bed first thing in the morning is very important, man. Hygiene, and those were things that Kevin Samuels was very stringent on.
Oh, wow.
Too, so,
yeah.
But really, I listen to a lot of comedians like Joe Rogan, Bert Kreischer, Tom Segura, and them. Other than that, kind of depends. You know what I mean? But mainly those.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey guys, this is John, and I am just back to add some more commentary to the question that Todd and Trey asked me about the podcasts that I listen to. I have to be honest, I really wasn't expecting them to give me a question about my background like that, and I kind of couldn't think of everything off the top, but those comedians that I listed, they are all inspirations, but they are a lot of the podcasts that I listen to recreationally. But I wanted to list some of the real inspirations for what I got going on. Shout out to that airplane in the background. First off, I mention this man in about every podcast involving hardcore. Sonny Singh of the Hate56 YouTube channel. His grind has gotten him to his legendary status, and his standard continues to be my goal. Adam22 of No Jumper for getting this type of media on the map with his interviews in the rap industry and expanding beyond just music and his own podcasts and creating new boundaries. Vlad TV for being an example of what professional and real journalism looks like. Ryan Sickler, a comedian from Baltimore, Maryland, who was raised not far from myself in Carroll County, who has a podcast about the struggle behind the people in the comedy industry. I wanted to thank him for being a local icon and someone for me to look up to in my area. And lastly, my earliest example of looking up to an interviewer was actually Brian Stars. He had his own channel where he got really big in the metalcore genre. interviewing bands like Asking Alexandria, Black Veil Brides, those sort of Warped Tour bands from back in the day. So back into the Trey Chaney conscious diet. Why is making your bed first thing? Why is that so important? And since the military is stringent on those kind of things, did you have like a military figure around you, or was that just a habit you obtained growing up?
You know what, man? That was a habit, and I read and I study a lot, and I understand it. That waking up first thing in the morning, making your bed, that sets the tone for how your day's gonna go.
Right.
If you're gonna wake up and just leave out the house, and that means if your bed is not made up, that means you might have an unorganized day. I mean, it just the way the world works. I feel when you consciously make those decisions, make the bed up, eat something healthy in the morning, pray, meditate, it sets the tone for the rest of your day / night.
Right.
So that was the reason why I did it.
When it comes to the prayer, what would you recommend maybe to people who aren't religious for this?
Well, I mean, prayer is a form of meditation. Right. So what, because a lot of people might say, well, I don't pray, but I meditate. Well, actually you are praying.
Right.
I mean, because what you're doing is you're calming down your mind on whatever else that you got going on in life. It's a calm of the mind to really tap into what it is you want to do, whether that's being creative. It's a lot of time for you to kind of like have that time to yourself to be silent, because sometimes in order to hear something, you gotta be quiet. Yeah. You gotta sit still. You gotta get quiet, and then you will experience to start seeing things come at you. Yeah.
When it comes to meditation, does repeating the pattern increase the quality of the results? Because I think it can be hard for people to achieve meditation in good quality sometimes. When they're starting off, they sit down, they start to...
Yeah.
And then they're like, man, this ain't doing nothing, you know? So, but does repeating it actually help improve the quality?
For me, yeah. Yeah, I don't... I mean, but then also, when you meditate and when you pray, it's still something that has to happen. And that's, you got to get up and go do the work. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like, all right, you could pray and you can meditate all you want, but if you're just sitting in here and you doing it and you ain't doing nothing else, ain't nothing happening for you.
Yeah, God does not solve your problems directly. What he does is he puts the things in your life that you have to go out and do something with those things in order to get that
That's
done.
Real.
And I think for people that aren't religious, use it as a manifestation period and out loud proclaim the things that you want, because I think words really have power, and that's something that I've been learning lately. With this, I've been like, in the shower this morning, I was saying things to myself that...
Words is seriously powerful.
Yes. And dress for success. Why is image important?
Image is important because, I mean, it kind of like defines, who you are and what you can attract. People attract certain things and people that they want to be affiliated with. So, you always got it. Image is definitely important. I remember being on a road with like Bell Biv DeVoe, Big Daddy Kane, and I remember one time Mike Bivens, we were getting ready to take a picture, and he felt he wasn't looking right. So he went in the bathroom and he came back out with his hat on, and then but he told me, he was like, bro, image is important, and you never know who's going to be looking at the image, and whether that's in person or in a picture. You can't be out here, especially if you a businessman, if you looking for different business ventures, or if you looking at, entertainment brands and stuff like that, you got to be on point.
No doubt. So talking about like how you said, with the partying and things like that, and you mentioned with your Trey Chaney conscious diet, sobriety. Now, when do you feel that it's right to celebrate and relax with some wine or champagne, and when do you take those periods of sobriety?
Well, usually, man, definitely the celebrations of the projects that's coming out, and the music and everything that we got going on right now. Yeah, we've been celebrating a lot, but don't get me wrong, it's not just like when I'm in the house just laying around, I'm just getting stoned. Nah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that those are really the times where you know, my kid needs my attention. You know, I got a 16-year-old. He need all my attention.
Right.
You know, at all times. My wife, she need my attention. You got to be in your right mind in the household to really be, you know, on point with that. So for me, you know, it's a time and a place for everything.
Yes.
And you can't overdo anything. I don't care what it is.
Even water is not.
You
good
can't
in excess.
you can't overdo water. Yeah, you can't overdo sodas. I mean anything you could think of, you can't overeat for real. Like it's certain you gotta but that's all a part of life. Like let me figure out what works for me, what doesn't, and you know. And it just falls into place like that.
Yeah, that's something that I've personally been working on a lot lately. A few months ago, I just had like a pretty pivotal like period where I was really just thinking about where I was, where I wanted to be, the things I didn't like about myself, and I didn't like how a lot of the things in my life had become so habitual. So like when it came to like I used to smoke like cigarettes and vape and stuff like that, and I always knew it wasn't good, you know what I mean? And it's just like, but when you're addicted like that to nicotine or other substances, it can be hard, you know.
Yeah,
so
get kind of tough.
I cut those out. I even cut like coffee out every single morning. It's like you said, anything in excess isn't good. So it's like I've been trying to slowly take out anything that I've been doing every single day, and trying to slow it down.
No, I feel you, bro. That's what's up.
The undeniable. Oh, one last thing. Do you attribute the Trey Chaney conscious diet to your success, and how do those things help you face the world?
Yeah, it helps me just because it's something that I started for myself. You know, it wasn't like, hey, I gotta. And then the world catches on, because that's what I was telling Todd on the way up here. Usually, when I do things, I'm not doing them for people. You know, for an opinion or whatever. Like even the music, I'm putting music out because I like it, I love it, I want to do it. You know, so even with the Trey Chaney conscious diet, with naming all of the things that I named that I you know follow, I'm doing that because that it's working for me.
Right.
So hopefully it works for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And you know, because a lot of people get so caught up on doing things for other people, they do themselves a disservice all the time. Like, oh, I'm doing this just because of this person or that person. Nah, you gotta. That's like you doing this. You doing this because this is what you love to do.
Absolutely.
And that energy attracted me to you know, in real time, to be sitting here now. Yeah. You know, because I mean, you know, I get thousands of people to reach out, but it was something about, I could tell you were passionate about this. So it's like, all right, well, you know what? That reminds me a lot of myself. Like, if he passionate about what he doing, why wouldn't I come and, you know, grant the interview so you could take this and chop it up and throw it out there and hopefully it get millions and millions of hits, and, you know, that could be big, man. That could be real big for you, for me, you know, for Todd, and it could just help further the situation.
Yeah, thank you, man. This was really about me. I guess this was really me just seeing, like, how far can I take this? You know?
I love that. And I've run across a lot of people like you that just, y'all take chances, and that's what I do. You know, you can't know if something is going to work until you try it. Mm-hmm. You just won't know. You could have been like, nah, I'm not reaching out to Trey because he might be on, you know, I've done Breakfast Club. I've done the,
right,
you know,
exactly.
So you might be like, nah,
he ain't going to come mess with me.
But this is, you know, we work it out and it works. You know, it's like, oh yeah, I'll be there, you know, and, you know, we're going to come in, we're going to share some positive energy and share light on a couple topics, and boom, we both did what we said we was going to do.
Absolutely. I only got a few major big topics and then some kind of quick round questions.
Okay.
Undeniable, the Trey Chaney story on Tubi.
Yeah.
It was made independently. Your family and acting peers give commentary on your life. How many years in the work was this, and was this one of your first independent projects?
Yeah, it was definitely one of my first independent projects, along with the Truthless project. But Undeniable, the Trey Chaney story, that's more so, that's the baby, man. Because, you know, people, when they look at me, they see someone who's still doing what I'm doing. So it's not undeniable. The Trey Chaney story was basically just like the book. It's like, okay, well, let me give you a part of my life and what led up to The Wire.
Yeah.
But undeniable, the Trey Chaney story, it's still other chapters that y'all are going to get. It's still other 45-minute documentaries that you're going to get. Because it's so much. I got footage from so much stuff that we've done, leading up from the time we started that till we finished. So now it's like, all right, we put this out. It's doing well on Tubi. People are leaving the Tubi channels like, yo, we're inspired. We didn't know that you stood on the corner of Washington, D.C. streets for, 5 years before you got Saints and Sinners. And that's why I say, man, you got to share. You got to share your story. You got to share stories because you never know who that story can touch.
Yeah, people tend to only see the results.
That's it.
That's important.
And with me, that's 9 times out of 10 times. They're like, man, you on TV, I want to be an actor. And it's like, no, it don't work like that. Like I didn't just wake up one day and say, I want to be an actor. I didn't wake up and then poof, The Wire. No, I had to work. I'm still working and earning whatever people see me do. It's not handed to me. Even with the relationships that I have, they don't hand me anything.
Right.
As you can see when I opened for Snoop several times, that takes a lot of before this album dropped, I was putting out music already. Mm-hmm. So now it's like, they got to see that stuff first before they'll lend their hand and say, all right, yeah, we'll pull you up. Come on, you get to do this. Come on, let's do this. But, nothing's handed to you. No, you got to earn it.
Absolutely. Got to pay the cost to be the boss.
Yeah.
Now, Give Them Their Flowers. That is your YouTube series on your channel where you interview your peers in the industry. I quickly just wanted to give you your flowers for doing interviews with a lot of the smaller channels on YouTube. While I was doing my research, I saw that you go on all the small platforms. I think a lot of people, they just don't think it's worth their time, but you show a lot of love, and I wanted to give you some flowers for that. And you recently just did one with the Chop Shop. That was it's a content based around The Wire.
Yeah, Chop.
And I just wanted to shout him out because I recently started watching his channel, and when I saw that he was getting you on before me, I was like, oh, no shit, man. Yeah. I might try to get a collab with him or some other channels.
I'm going to put that together for you. Yeah, I'll hook that up for y'all, man. That's what's up. Yeah, the Chop. And, the Chop Shop, another one that reached out and, man, and I'm like, because what happens is it reminds me of when somebody sleeps on somebody and that person turns out to be the biggest podcast, artist, actor. One thing I'm not going to do is regret anything. Like when it comes to things like that. Yeah. When somebody reaches out, first of all, I got to know that you're serious. I mean, of course, Joe Blow can't just reach out and then we're going to pull up. Nah, that's not happening. If I know you for real and you got all this and you serious, whatever we need to do to make this happen, we just going to make it happen because it's like, well, you serious and you know how serious I am about my business. And when I get on platforms, people watch, they listen, so I'm like, yo, let's make it happen.
Real recognizes real.
Yeah, that's a fact.
All right. Now, in Season 3, Episode 3 of your book, for the people listening that don't know, it's not chapters, it's seasons.
It's seasons, yeah.
You were talking about your TV Land performance. I had my Dobb hat, Michael Jackson leather jacket on, and a cane. Now, the Dobb hat is a staple to your attire now. When did your love of fancier hats begin? Where do you source your fancy hats? And what materials and felts are you fond of? Me, personally, I have a Borsalino. I was just curious, because I see that you stay with the hats.
Yeah, man. My I got the Brunos. I got I got a whole bunch of different hats, man. I go the Stacey Adams. I love those Dobbs. What's the other joint, man? Golly, it slipped right off the top of my head. But my love for Dobb hats came in, I want to say 2015. Yeah, maybe 2015. Oh no, 2014, 2015. And I'll never forget. Me and my wife were in Target, and I seen a hat. Like,
Right.
I seen a hat, and I put the hat on, and I felt weird, kind of like with it on,
Yeah.
but it was almost like, well, let me wear it. And you talking what, maybe 8 9 years later? I'm like, yeah, I mean, cause I really I buy hat. I'm getting ready to start a hat line.
Ooh.
I'm getting ready to start it like a Trey Chaney
Oh,
collection
let's
Dob hat
go.
line. Yeah, because I mean, I why wouldn't I invest in something that I wear? I love hats, so it's
Exactly.
like, and it became my signature. People kind of like expect me to wear a Dob hat, even when they see me in regular caps. That's cool,
Yeah.
but people expect, yeah, the Dobbs.
No doubt. All right, now I got some quick round questions.
That's cool.
Who would you rather owe money to and why? Marlo Stanfield or Rex Fisher?
I might rather owe money to Rex because that's my
Yeah.
dad. He might not go so crazy on me like Marlo would.
Yeah, no doubt.
Shout out to Jamie Hector too. That's my brother.
Yes, sir. Who is more trifling as a parent? Naaman's mom in The Wire or Kendrick's grandmom on Saints and
Oh,
Sinners?
Kendrick's grandmother.
Yeah,
off the
I was
rip.
gonna say,
I'm
yo,
sending
because you
Jackie a
got
WhatsApp.
on one hand, you got put that bitch in baby booking where he belongs, and then you got that bitch tried to bury me alive.
Yeah.
How did you feel when Radio Shack went out of business, considering it was your favorite store as a kid?
Yeah, that was kind of tough, man. Radio Shack. My parents used to take me there all the time when I did something good. They'd buy me stuff from there. My first boom box and all that. Yeah, that was a kind of tough one.
Yeah. Who's more iconic in your opinion with the cigars, Bunk or Rex?
Bump.
Yeah.
Bump. Legendary.
You said it's a check now to cut the beard. Are you able to disclose how much to cut the beard, or is that an industry secret?
It's a big check. It has to be. If I cut my beard, you went on and had to kick. You'll know. You'll know you kicked me some real dollars if I cut this beard.
What were your thoughts on The Wire and the Kith collab, which is part of the shirt that I'm wearing now?
I'm wearing one too.
Oh, nice. Hell
I'm
yeah.
wearing the Kif joint.
Yeah.
Amazing. And Kith sent me, he sent me these. Yeah, I got
Hell
a bunch
yeah.
of them.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, Kith, that's legendary. You know what I'm saying? And then iconic The Wire. Like it's almost like a no-brainer, to really collab on something like that. So it was big.
Absolutely. And lastly, I just have some kind of industry stories that maybe you could go over very quickly. In your book, you said you went to Stevie Wonder's recording pad.
Yeah, my parents sent me to Stevie Wonder's house. No, my parents sent me to Kenny Lattimore's house.
Who went to middle school with your uncle, right?
Yeah, and he, my father used to kind of manage him, and I was cutting up in school, and I guess my punishment was to go stay with Kenny in L.A. And this Grammy nominated singer Stevie Wonder calls his phone while we're in his house eating breakfast, and Stevie wanted him to come past the studio, so we leave Kenny's house at like maybe 4 or 5 o'clock, get to Stevie's house, and I'll just never forget walking in. I watched them record a song like in real time. Stevie Wonder was playing, I mean, like literally right here. So I'm just sitting there and I'm like, yeah, this is unreal. Like this is really the craziest thing ever in my life. And we were in there from 7 p.m. to 7 in the morning. And that's what kind of like gave me my drive for the way I work in the studio now. Years ago, I knew, I'm like, if you're going to be in the studio, that's the work ethic.
Yeah. They say that the people you surround yourself with is ultimately who you end up becoming like. So that's important. You appeared in a music video for Bow Wow really early on.
Yeah, Bow Wow. Shout out to Bow Wow. It was called My Baby. Is Bow Wow featuring Jagged Edge. Shout out to Randy and Eric, the Fat Cats, who casted me for that. That was my first music video. It was huge. On 106 in Park Countdown, #1 for like they had to retire it after 6 or 7 weeks, and just being on BET, man, and being in a video that was retired with Bow Wow was amazing.
Gotcha. And I meant to ask, what's your favorite Stevie Wonder album or song?
Man, I love all of Stevie Wonder's albums are amazing. I love where I'm coming from. I love where I come from. I love Superwoman, the record. Superstitious, of course. Overjoyed. We could go down a list of Stevie. We could go down a list of Stevie Wonder songs like all day.
Yeah. This is my last main point. Now, you said that you always consult. Well, in your book, you said you always consulted with your parents, especially in decisions like when you made Natasha your publicist.
Yeah.
How involved is your family, obviously, in the Chaney Vision Entertainment?
Well, they're 100% involved in everything. My mother, like Elaine, she's still, her and my lawyer, they look over contracts. They make sure stuff, they travel, stuff like that they make sure that's good. And my sister, I gotta give a shout out to my sister because she's the one who actually came up with the "Do Y'all Hear Me," the name beside the name of the album. My sister, I talk to my sister every day. It's like we're twins. So my family is just involved in everything I do. They, because it's being a part of it. They like, you should do that, or when they see certain things that I've done, they might have suggestions like, man, I think the next time you should do this, or whatever. You just criticism, constructive criticism. I mean, because at the end of the day, everybody wants to see. I can honestly say some of my family members, they want to see me win.
Yeah, that's good.
And they pushing for it.
Absolutely. And what's the importance of having people like publicists and casting agents?
Well, agent. Having an agent is they can get you in rooms that you can't get yourself in. Now, a publicist is cool. Don't get me wrong. But when you become on a certain level like I'm on right now, as far as the relationship builds, like I built a relationship with you. I could call you and say, hey, Bodie wants to come in. He wants
Anytime.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm almost kind of like a publicist too, based off of relationships.
Yeah, your net worth. Network is your net worth.
Yeah. So you don't want to get bamboozled and paying a publicist sometimes doing something that you can do yourself.
Right. Gotcha. That's all I got, man. Before we stop recording, do you just want to tell the people all of your upcoming projects, movies, and you're doing a press run right now? Where can they expect to see you on?
So, yeah, man, Chaney Vision Dreams, Volume 1. Do Y'all Hear Me? That's the album. 10 songs, 10 videos, available on all streaming platforms. Y'all can follow me on, social media. The social media Instagram is Trey Chaney Vision. Facebook is Trey Poot Chaney. And then I got another one that's just Trey Chaney. You'll find it. Twitter is @Trey Chaney. And man, it's a couple of things, So I got Scam City that I'm a producer on as well as an actor in that. That's coming out November 1st on Tubi.
Cool.
Carlton, which is a horror film with Danny Trejo.
I saw that. That's absolutely huge,
Danny Trejo.
man.
Yeah, October 27th. I play Samuel in that, which is my real name, right? And then it's a couple of things that I can't even share yet, but it's going to blow the fans' mind when they see me in it. I got some shows that I'm a part of next year that they're big,
Nice.
So yeah, I'm waiting to see those, man, and yeah, just have fun, man.
Hell yeah, and I wanted to let Todd give his shout outs.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Peace. This is Todd J. Phillips. Y'all can follow me on social media at IG Be a True Legend, Facebook Todd J. Phillips. Also, I'm an actor, music producer. So if anybody's looking for anybody to work with, collab with, hit me up. I'm always looking to work with people. Good energy, grinding, you already know. Hope everybody have a blessed one.
Yeah, thank you for giving your commentary as well.
Oh my God, absolutely,
did a great job.
Man. It was definitely nice coming and meeting with you. Good energy, man. Like all around the messages and yo, keep doing this, man, because you definitely have something special, and I like what you're doing, man.
Thank you. I absolutely will. This is only the beginning, guys. Thank you for listening.